Hey guys, my name's Ray and welcome to my backyard. I've just started beekeeping and today I'm going to be doing a video on how to make a bucket sugar syrup feeder for your beehive. Where I live, which is the south coast of New South Wales in Australia, most of the time we'll be using feeders like this. This is what we can get readily at beekeeping supply stores and whatnot. They're alright. I use it for the first few days of starting my first beehive, and a lot of bees died, and it takes up a space in your brood box as well, or whichever box you have it in. So I've decided to make my own version of a pail feeder, and during my research before becoming a beekeeper I watched a lot of videos on a channel called Beehive Farm, so links down in the description below. Really good channel, you should watch it. He uses a pail feeder, and a lot of people in North America do. And basically how it works is that there's a hole in the top, so this will go upside down on your inner cover, and there's a hole at the top with fly screen embedded into the lid. You fill it with sugar syrup, and when you flip it upside down, a little bit comes out, but because of the small holes in the fly screen, surface tension in the liquid with the vacuum and the suction force from the top doesn't allow the water to come out. Kind of like when you use a straw and you dip it into a drink, you put your finger on top of the straw and you lift it out and the water stays in the straw. So I'm going to be making one of these today. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so all the materials that you're going to need is one of these buckets. Doesn't matter what brand, as long as it seals. So as you can see here, it says leak-proof solution. So when you turn it upside down, none of the sugar syrup's going to spill out of the seal. So you can get this is a 2.3 litre pail. I decided to use a smaller one. You can use as big a bucket as you like, as long as it's got one of these lids, if you wanted to less frequently go into your hive to top it up. The next thing you're going to need is some fly screen. Now I've used aluminium fly screen because it's a little bit more rigid. If you get the fiberglass one, it's a bit bendy, and it might work fine and you're more than welcome to give it a go, but I just think that the aluminium one is the way to go. And basically that's all you really need as far as materials go, other than a Stanley knife to chop a hole in the lid and to cut out the fly screen. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is measure out roughly what size the hole in your inner cover is in your beehive, because that's the size hole you're going to need to make in your bucket to put your fly screen into. Here's one I prepared earlier. Alright. Okay, so once you've finished marking it out with a magic pen, that'll just come away. Just like that. Don't even know why we need the Stanley knife today. Okay, so now that that's cut, we get our fly screen, and we'll just make a rough cut because you want a little bit of overhang so you can put the hot glue in there. So I'll cut that and be back with you right. There we go. Fly screen's cut out. It's pretty rough. It's not pretty, it doesn't need to be because it's going to be inside. It's more of a functional thing. So before we hot glue gun the fly screen to the inside of the lid, we need to give it a bit of a sand to rough it up, just so it gives something for the glue to bind to instead of a smooth surface. Okay, now I've got my hot glue gun, and we're just going to glue around, try and work it into the gaps. Okay, it's glued on. relatively with a small amount of glue, and the reason that I didn't put a ring of glue around and then put it on top is so that it's flush against the plastic as much as possible. I'm just going to put a bit more in because we don't want it to leak either, so we want it to make sure it seals. So the wider the glue is, the less likely we are to get a leakage. We definitely don't want sugar syrup just free falling through the hive, even though the bees will still eat it, but it won't be very nice because it'll be a mess. Alright, so pretend that this is sugar syrup, and we're going to pour however much you want in there. It can be pretty much right to the top. And again, I'll point you guys in the direction of Vino Farm's channel. He gives a whole recipe on sugar syrup. Alright, so like I said, you're going to get spillage a little bit at first before the vacuum seals. So flip it over, and then it stops. And then what you do is you put that on top of your inner cover, and then you put your super or whatever around it, and the bees come and they lick it with their little tongue. The end. What did you just say, Amanda?
Having the more viscous sugar syrup, it will work even better.